care who it is. This is a brotherhood. And if we stand strong together, we can't be denied. If one of us goes down, we have another, and another, and another that's ready to fight. So let's hit this field and bang them, bang them, bang them. Somebody, light me up.
It's time to huddle up. It's the Turf District Podcast. Welcome back to the Turf District, where we huddle up to talk all things Edmonton Elks and the CFL. And we are a proud member of the Canadian Football Podcast Network. There it is. Lovely. And thank you for joining us, whether you're joining us on YouTube Live, on Facebook Live, on Twitter/X, whatever you want to call it. If you've downloaded the podcast, or possibly you are joining us on Edmonton Sports Talk Radio at our new time on Thursday evenings at 5 o'clock. Thank you for joining us. The whole gang is here. The Hostful crew, as we are all very excited post-exciting hockey game. I don't know if either of you have calmed down yet. I'm still a little shaky. First, starting with Superfan Mike. How are you, my friend?
Good now. That was a little closer than I would have liked, especially after the game we had on the weekend. But yeah, you know,
a little tense.
All's well that ends well, shall we say? So
That's
we have
right.
a game 6.
Yep. Guess where I'm going to be when game 6 is on?
Not here.
I'll be in Medicine Hat. So yeah.
I will be at the Bombers game in Winnipeg.
On your phone the whole time.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it's going to be like
they playing?
They're playing BC. So,
Right.
Oh well, I mean,
but I'm in.
Okay,
I mean, I'm in Winnipeg. I didn't,
And
so I'm like,
wear your CFL gear.
Yeah, I am. I'm totally wearing.
I just hope both teams have fun.
Have it all packed. It's all
guys,
ready to go.
I went to Calgary for a Calgary Hamilton game. You get away with this one. It's BC.
Right? Yeah, it's a good one. But it just, the timing sucks. It's going to be on. I'm like,
I'm at a wedding on Saturday. What are we doing on Saturday again?
Oh, yeah. Playing a game. Neat.
Yeah, exactly. Give now, kiss the bride. Woohoo! I mean, touchdown. Touchdown.
Sorry, Commissioner. I didn't introduce you. Hello, Commissioner. How are you?
Didn't you? Oh,
No,
I
didn't.
introduce myself these
That's
days.
fine. That's good.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Stick that hand out.
I can.
No.
Yeah. So join Mike for his deep analysis of the football game next week on the Turf District Podcast, because of course he will have all of the information after that. Join us Tuesday night for the podcast. That's
there.
Right,
it is.
Can you just like live tweet what happens at the wedding and the football game simultaneously?
Yeah, they're a bunch of Calgary fans.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's not okay. That's not.
But they're family, so you know.
Well,
okay. Pray for your
Fair
soul.
enough.
Gotta love them.
Gotta.
Sure.
Well, is Tony Allen there? All crying because
I was talking to Tony. He sent me a
just-
message earlier. I'd like to dedicate the Oilers win to him. I said every time he posts something about how all of Canada's behind Florida, the Oilers have been winning, or behind Vancouver, or behind Dallas. So
Excellent.
I said that they should call him their good luck charm. So he messaged me. It's like, you got in my head so much, I took the post down. And what happened?
I'm like, you're spending a lot of energy being jealous of our team.
So I asked if he would say some nice things about Toronto on Saturday. So
Just saying. That'd be very good. Is that just so you can be like,
Oh my.
Yeah, I know.
Although I'm a little jealous, I don't know how to do that.
Tim Capper has given me all the power.
Unleash the beast.
I know, it's crazy. Before I forget, to make sure that you check out the store as well. Zazzle.ca/store/turf_district_shop. We have all of our tailgate gear, all the podcast gear, all of the Pride Month gear. So grab your stuff there. I will get better at posting the link to that in the notes but it will be in the podcast. So make
There
sure
we
that
go.
you
That's
jump
what
in there, be part of it. Our friends over at Two and Out launched a store, and they have sold
Yes.
more items than we have already. So let's make sure that we have more Turf District stuff out there.
What?
That'd be great. I know.
How dare they be more successful than us?
I know. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Well, we have a game to recap and
We
a game
do.
set up. Now, if you've joined us live, make sure that you put your questions into the comments below.
Yes.
If it's your first time joining us, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you know when we are live. But throw your questions in there. We will take some fan questions during the podcast because there won't be any overtime this evening because it's
Oh,
8 start. So, and lots of us have an early morning. So,
yeah.
but we want to still get in some stuff. So now we did have a couple of roster moves that we're going to talk about first, and then get to the game. Just today, signed to the PR, Canadian wide receiver Frederick Antoine. Do you think I'm saying that right?
Yeah, it's Frederick.
All right. Thanks. And last week we released defensive lineman Joe Jackson.
You can't get what you want till you know what you want.
There you go. And we released national fullback Bruno Legacy today. So
What a name.
what? Bruno Legacy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Kind of wild,
A
right?
name.
Yeah. When
Didn't
they
live
released,
up to his name though, apparently.
not so far. Defensive
They're like-
lineman Joe Jackson. As soon as I saw that, I thought, well, I know you thought a bunch of song references, Mike, but
Yes.
I immediately thought,
Or
are they
shoeless.
opening up a spot for Oakman?
Yes.
I wondered if that might be the case, because of course he got released by Toronto. So
Mhm.
we shall see. But could you imagine if they found a way on a line to put Kimdichie and Oakman up the middle?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my.
Good
Well,
lord.
especially as we may have to make a few changes.
We may have to make a few changes.
Well, with Romeo, apparently he's
Mhm.
got a calf injury, so
Oh no.
maybe you bump somebody out to defensive end, and there's a spot right there.
Look, there's a spot right there waiting. So that would be
Do we
okay.
have the cap space though?
That's where
It's come on.
I know, right? Yeah. Silly me. What am I thinking?
What were you thinking?
Oh, Kayla, I tell you,
I
we're so glad
know.
you're here for the laughs. That's good. I gotta, yeah. Yeah, no, what is
The luxury tax? Yes.
correct? Spend 100,000 over because we have no money, but at least we could get a decent lineup. I would be
There we
okay
go.
with that. I mean,
Yeah.
that would not be such a bad thing.
Nope.
So yeah, I would. I'd be excited if that was the case, but we shall see. Let's
We
get
shall
into
see.
our game recap. Elks held in with the Grey Cup champs for most of the game. 2 interceptions and some untimely drops,
Yes.
and a really unfortunate penalty
Yeah.
have them fall 23-20 to Montreal, going 0-2 on the season. So
Tied with Winnipeg.
Who would have thunk?
yes. Well, maybe we can be ahead of Winnipeg this week.
Go BC.
Could
There you
happen.
go. That's right. That's thank you for
Not
that.
that I'm biased, yeah.
I know, not at all.
Nope.
Let's talk about what was going on in this game. Mike, tell me what you thought.
I think you said it all when you talked about those. It wasn't just that we had interceptions. It wasn't just that we had a drop or we had a penalty. It's when they happened that really just seemed to deflate the team and take. Because, like you said, we hung with the Grey Cup champions, who have shown to be a very strong team going into 2024 after a very strong 2023 when they were all written off.
Yeah.
And it just feels like this team, a couple of breaks go our way, could be 2-0 or 1-1 versus 0-2,
Agreed.
which is not a bad thing. So you look at that 2011 BC Lions team that went, what was it, 0-8 to start the season?
I think it was 0-6.
0-6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever it was. They were close. They were getting close.
Yeah.
And then they just went on a tear and got hot at the right time. So
Mhm.
could that happen to us? I certainly hope so. That's kind of what we're all
Never know.
saying. You know,
Look at the
16-2,
Oilers.
Get on.
16-2, and the Grey Cup title.
I like how you keep changing it. Yeah,
Yeah,
16 and
whatever.
2 now. All right. Well, that's
0-5 says Blake. Sorry.
yeah. Well, that's yeah.
I'm
Hmm.
sure that was on 6.
Oh, it was 0 and 5. Thank you very. Okay, I thought it was 0 and 6. I could have sworn it was 0 and 6, but okay.
I don't remember.
Either
I
way.
was in the enemy territory at the time.
Or
but
1 and 6, maybe. Maybe that's what I'm getting confused with.
maybe.
Maybe. Anyway, they came
I'm
back.
really
That's all that
hoping
matters.
Tim is right.
Elks won't go 0 and 6 or 0 and 8.
So 0 and 7, like
Really?
Well, you got to get to 0 and 6 if you're going 0 and 7. So
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm glad you have that confidence, Tim. I mean, the games are close, right?
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
The one against Saskatchewan had it in hand and then kind of fell apart in the fourth. The one against Montreal had to make the comeback, but after a couple of bust plays, but they did keep it close and they just couldn't finish. So I don't know if that means that we're just that one step away to being able to get that finish. So
Right.
what else do you think about the game there, Kamish?
Well, I agree with you. The problem is you can't keep that. We're just one step away. You actually have to take that step and, start making them improvements. So I have some notes.
Excellent. The glasses came out for the notes. That's pretty good.
Oh, you know what? It's really hard to do like a full video setup with like lights blaring at you. My eyes, I've noticed I blink so much because my eyes are so sore and like straining. Probably too because I actually do need glasses, but I never wear them.
Could be that.
Could be that. So I'm focused on some positives because there were some really fun moments that were had during the game. I don't know if you guys noticed when Mark Cordy came and pushed Kevin Brown to gain some extra yards. That was so fun. That was so fun.
It's probably the most effective the O-line was all night, was pushing Kevin Brown forward. Yeah.
That's in my naked.
Whatever it takes.
But yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to get beat up by one of those guys one of these times. But anyway, that's just what it felt like.
Guys, if you're listening, don't do it unless Mike and I are present, please.
Thanks. Go ahead and do it as long as you guys are there. Thanks, Kayla.
Someone's going to hold the camera.
I embarrass myself daily. I embarrass myself all the time, Andrew, and you're always present for it. It's time for a little
fair.
Maybe not like super violent, just a little.
Great. Just a little shaking.
Shake.
Great. Yeah, thanks.
Well, one of the things that I was worried about was Tyson Philpott, and I thought they kept him really well contained. He had, what did he have? 49 yards for 5 receptions. So for Tyson Philpott, that's pretty minimal. So I thought that Leon and Marcus Edwards did a fairly decent job covering that boy's ass. So I'm happy with that. My fantasy isn't, but I mean that's a whole different story.
Conversation just gets deeper and deeper.
Oh yeah. Our penalties did go down. That's great. That stupid absurd one aside, our penalties were down. Was it 4 for?
Yeah, 4 for the game.
37 or something like that.
To 9.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
They had 9. We had 4.
Exactly.
It seems backwards, but
it does seem backward.
Nice. Yeah.
Usually we have double digits, don't we?
Yeah, up there. 9 to 13 usually in that range. So 4 was good. And
then just like shout out to Purifoy. Like Jay said on EST, like that guy's a dog and he proved it. Mm-hmm. Oh, he's so aggressive. And anytime he'll make if he makes a few like little fudge ups here and there, he always makes up for those big plays. Oh man, if he would have had that ball and ran with it, whole different ball game. But unfortunately,
just that interception.
Just missed it.
But pop on Cole Speaker though.
Yeah.
Holy man.
I heard that up in my seats.
Yeah, no kidding. That was a big hit. Holy cow.
So I mean, it's Purifoy. It's classic Purifoy, right? He's aggressive. He's there. And going with the veteran status that Jack was talking about to you, Andrew, during training or fan day, I saw him when they were lining up for a field goal on Montreal field goal, and Purifoy comes in from the back, pulls one of the centers and like heaves him aside because he was in the wrong position for that kick. I was just like, thank you. Thank you. I don't know. I just found that really entertaining.
He did have an impact coming back for sure, but
He did.
was upset after the game because
They're
part of that bust, right?
well, we
Good,
saw
though.
there was more than one that was very upset. So, but
We
yeah,
want them
if you can
upset.
if you can take that emotion and actually use it to drive you into the next game for a W, please be emotional. Just use
Agreed.
it to your advantage.
Agreed. Yep.
And hate to lose. You
Yes,
gotta hate to lose.
that's
Yep.
right. Yeah,
I
all the
hate
time.
it enough to actually win, which they
Mm.
just can't seem to hate it quite enough.
Just last
2 games
steps.
in. Here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only 2
But-
games. Okay.
So, there's some positives, and I thought the defense played quite well. I mean, there's some spots where there's improvements needed, but I mean, as a whole, I thought, they're clicking.
Run
Pretty
defense is the part I didn't like.
I agree.
Weirdly, last game,
Yeah.
they
Against Alouettes, we were great, but I mean, was it 100 yards? Did he get break 100? He didn't quite.
Not rushing.
Fletcher.
He had 83
All-purpose,
rushing,
yeah.
but he had all purpose. He had 120 something.
Right.
Like it was
Well,
crazy.
Walter
But it was
Fletcher
like
ate it
6.8
up.
yards per carry average.
Yeah.
I mean, admittedly, one was almost 40 yards, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
skews your average a little bit. But
Fletcher did want to, make a point, and he sure did.
He sure
That's what-
did.
was that Tim was saying on the last
Yep.
episode. So
Yep. He was
Mhm.
saying that he wanted to make a point, and boy, did he ever. That was,
Yep. And that Nafis Lyon interception
cast
that
off,
was
yeah.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
I was, Fletch lives. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And he did. I think out of this game, and there was positives, like you said, Kayla, like 3 sacks by the defense. I thought the defensive line played reasonably well.
Mhm.
There was some good parts there. I think my biggest concern out of this game, though, was the short yardage team, and like 4 cracks at the one to get in the one time, 3 for sure to get in for the touchdown.
But we
least
got
they got
in.
And then
Exactly.
we did finally, but it wasted all the time, right?
Yeah,
Like
at
it
the
took
end.
all that time off the clock. And then the one where they took 3rd down and it was like 1.5 yards at the Montreal 50 or whatever it was. And I swear, like the ball hadn't hit Prukop's hands and Mustafa Johnson was in the
Right there.
backfield knocking
Yeah.
him over. I'm like, guys, like that should never happen. Like I
Right.
get that he had a good jump, but that
it shouldn't
like-
have been that hole.
no, and just to have that in that again, that was kind of a pivotal spot in the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
To give them more points, and that was
And deny us points. Yeah.
like that short yardage team. It just needs to be better.
It's the push up front, right?
Yep, absolutely. So those were the things that I was a little
Miffed.
yeah.
One more thing I enjoyed, I think, the game was stuff you don't see every day, like a punt hitting a referee.
What?
Proving once again
proving-
you can't catch footballs with your face.
I missed that.
The best part of that was he got hit and he was just trying to throw the flag for the illegal punt, and he kind of his hand slipped off the flag and it just like dropped on the ground and he's like,
Yeah.
it was
Why wasn't that in the highlights? Dang it.
It was in the 2 and Out. Actually, put it in one of their videos.
I'll have to go.
They had
Oh
a
my
short
god.
on it.
It's very, very funny. Yeah. So I mean, I feel sorry for that guy, but he was
laughing at the end. It's just
the whole sequence of it was hilarious because he's like
Okay.
watching the ball and then he's like, oh no, turns, whack, drops the flag. Yeah. Okay. Well,
I gotta find this right now. I'm just gonna turn it down.
it was very funny. So
yeah.
Anything else on the game? Yeah, I don't think we need to dwell on that anymore. We've hacked it to pieces.
The only thing I'd say is that, I mean, our run defense was terrible. Our run offense wasn't bad. I mean, we had 4.5 yard average. We just don't run the ball enough. We had 11 carries for K-Bro.
Yeah, that's very true.
You need to run him more.
Yeah. And that helps open the guys down the field.
Yeah.
Granted, they were open and then just didn't catch it. That could be part of it. Yeah.
Dylan Mitchell, I mean, if he would have caught that ball, he'd had a really solid game.
Yeah, absolutely. Curly did have a great game.
Curly had a great game.
93 yards.
He's in the top 10. So was Dylan Mitchell.
Yeah, and
receiving.
And that spectacular grab between the two defenders at the 45. Oh, yeah. Man, what a catch. So Curly, lots of points. Yeah, love Curly. I'm happy that he's here. Points, yes, exactly. All right, Mike, shall we get into some Hoard and Tell?
Sure.
All right, look at I have it ready this time. It's time for Hoard and Tell. There it is. Still spelled wrong, but funny. Okay.
So majestic.
One day it'll be spelled right.
No,
I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, no. There you go.
There
Mike,
we go. Here's me. So I got a few things coming in today, and I thought, well, this seems like a good time as any to show it. This I got a couple of jerseys in. This one I particularly liked.
Ooh,
number 94.
94.
Torrey Davis.
That? Oh, that's
well, you can see that patch on
2015. Yes.
And what's really special about this is these patches did not stay on the jersey. They were taken off the jersey. But Davis was injured right after that game. He played one more game in Ottawa. Okay. So an away game, he didn't wear this, or a home game, he didn't wear the jersey. But so he wore this for the away game against Toronto. So they kept that on, and then he was cut. So yeah, again, very rare to see it, unless someone's sewn it on after. But yeah,
that's awesome.
Rare. And very speaking of rare, this one also fairly rare, only because of the age, as you can sort of see. This is a nice old one. This is a 1983 Gary Hayes. Defensive back. Yes.
Wow.
Defensive halfback. I actually had a Gary Hayes with no name bar. It was never used. It was just team issued. This has got quite a few marks all over it. So we'll have to see if we can photo match this one. But yeah, this is game used from 1983 summer.
Wow. Nice.
And then a couple more things sort of came in. This I thought was kind of neat. This is a 1967 football facts and figures compliments of Trudeau's. Oops, upside down. Dry cleaners.
Trudeau's dry cleaners.
Yeah, still around.
Wow.
And sponsored by our friends at 630 Chad.
Wow.
So this was sort of a little preview of the 1967 season. Has a lot of facts about the 66 season and the schedule and everything else. So neat little pocket version of that.
That's cool.
So sorry. What is it exactly?
So it's a facts, figures, records, that kind of thing.
Like a stat sheet?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, it's got some stats. It's got team records. It's got who's on the team, who are the new people coming in this year. Sort of a preview of the 67 season, and then talking about the 66 season. Someone who ever had dutifully filled everything in.
Oh wow!
All the numbers. Can see all the peoples that were, coming out this year, etc. How people did in the playoffs.
Oh wow!
Gosh, why don't we do that anymore?
I know. You can still get the facts and figures. It's a much bigger book. Yeah. It's about an inch thick, and it's 8.5 by 11. But it's almost all digital now.
Yeah,
sadly.
And it's that's one of those ones where does it have in there like long gone left, long gone right?
Yeah, you think
punch?
Doesn't it?
Like, does it
not the playbook. This is way too thick to be our playbook from back then. Our playbook was about the size of a matchbook cover. So
okay, fair enough. Yeah. All right.
And then lastly, I found I have a couple of copies of this, so this will go into the trade pile. Most people don't realize that at one point we had our own newspaper, and I don't mean Edmonton. I mean the team.
Wow.
Cool.
So this is the Edmonton Eskimo Monthly. This is from 1981, also known as the greatest team ever to play. And there were only, I think, 4 issues of this. Cost a whopping $1. I would have paid a lot more for that now.
Yeah,
probably. But it's got a little bit, lots of stuff on the team, who the players were. There's a lovely shot of our some of the stars we had in the team there.
Oh,
Mike Wilson, Dan Kepley, and David Fennell.
Wow.
Even just the old ads in the back are just really cool. So, so like I said, there are four different issues that came out. This one I think is March. It's March, April, May, and June. I don't think I've got one. I don't think I'm missing April, but I've got like two or three copies of the collector's edition, the March premiere issue.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Holy cow, that's cool.
Yeah, it was kind of fun to see. I'm like, oh, look, I have one. Oh, look, I have another one. Oh, and I have another one. But I have no April.
I have a feeling that's on a lot of stuff, Mike.
Well, that's why I have spreadsheets for so many things now. But I mean, like a spreadsheet would have like one thing in it. It's like newspaper 4. Having
Newspaper 4. I'll have more. Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, you can't have enough of these things, I think.
No, it's true. Oh, that makes me sad, Leanne.
Oh, that does. She had one of those papers, unfortunately, got ruined in a basement flood.
Let me know. I can maybe get that replaced for you. Like I said, I've got several. So, so yeah, we can make sure you get another one there.
Excellent. Look at this. The super fan helping out.
There we are.
Helping out all of our wonderful football family. Let's take a couple of fan questions. How about that? Is there any questions in the chat?
There's a lot of stuff in the chat.
Oh, perfect. Chat. Okay.
So we've got a few different things. We'll start with Tim. This was an interesting one that we actually had a discussion of.
Oh, that was,
Thoughts on the we want Trey chance at the game? And we had a discussion in our group chat.
Yes, we did.
I personally don't agree with it. But fans are going to be what fans are going to be. They're paying the tickets. They're coming to the game. They're frustrated. They're going to express their frustration how they're doing it. Is it respectful to the team? No. Is it respectful to the players? No.
Nope.
But they're the paying customers. They're the guys that are, sitting in there, buying the merch, buying whatever, and they're frustrated and they're letting it out. Yeah. It's not going to change what's going to happen on the field. And it's just, as soon as we start winning, no one's going to be yelling it anymore.
And it's not going to help.
Oh, of course it doesn't help.
It's not going to help anybody.
That's not what they're thinking at that moment.
No, they're not thinking at all.
I'm frustrated. Yeah.
Right. But that happens all the time. People, how many times have you heard someone boo their own team?
Right.
Same thing. Right. They're frustrated. They're letting it out.
What was that, Kayla?
It's stupid. It's stupid and petty.
Stoops.
Yeah. And the thing is, I get the frustration. Mm-hmm. Like I totally get the frustration. I'm frustrated sitting there watching it going, this was supposed to be like, we brought in the quarterback so we could win now. Like that was the whole idea. Mm-hmm. And we're not winning now, but it's not just on the quarterback. And that's the thing that that's the part that I'm struggling with. Right.
And I feel like if you can guarantee that having Trey, by the way, that's spelled wrong and it's very irritating to me.
Well, we'll decide that. There we go.
If it was guaranteed, like, yes, we saw the future, Trey's going to win us games. Okay. But the fact is, just like you said, it's not just on the quarterback. Yeah, well, exactly. Right. So it's just, again, it's a stupid comment. I love Trey Ford. I want to see him play, but it's not helping anybody. It's definitely not going to help the team because they're just going to feel more divided. If there is any division, it's just going to divide you more. And I do want to correct that Trey Ford Muriel is gonzo.
It is gone. Yeah.
Well, they're all gone. Yeah. Yeah. Because we just noticed the Trey one because that's where we always meet at West.
Exactly.
There was stuff all around the stadium.
But I did look. This isn't a sign like that stupid Michael Riley poster from Grey Cup. No. In 2018 at the tweet up, I think there was a poster of Michael Riley. And at the end of the night, it was just like getting ripped down. I'm like, if that's not an omen, I don't know what is.
A portent of things to come.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway.
It is weird on the concourse though, too. I mean, first there's way less people, which is sad. But the other part is, and I know they've been gone for it, but they had those Legends banners up top and not having them. It's just like, man.
Is it a temporary thing or why did they remove them?
They've taken them down since the name change.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was the name change as much. It all happened at the same time. We had the murals on the outside of the stadium.
Right.
Those were taken down and replaced with the Elks logo.
Yep. Yeah, and it's
Yeah, I don't like
that's
that.
unfortunate because it just it feels odd on the
It feels like you're
concourse
trying
there.
to just get rid of something instead of honoring it. It's like, let's replace it with, oh, look how great this is. This
It's
amazing logo instead of this is our
but it's
past.
yet another thing separating the
Exactly.
longtime fans of the team and some
Exactly.
of the newer fans of the team from the team itself.
Yeah.
I
Very true.
don't know most of those players. I wasn't around. I haven't seen those games, but I still
But
that
you know Giz,
connected.
you know Warren Moon.
Yeah, and that connected me to the past a
Yeah.
little bit. And with it gone, I'm just like, okay, this is like a new team that I don't really have any kind of connection with, at least.
But they're trying to do both things, right? They're trying to say
Yeah.
this is the same team for the last 75 years,
But it's
albeit a different name. Just like, again, your mom gets married and changes her name.
Yep.
Same thing. She's still the same person she was before the wedding. It's just a different name.
But-
Same with the team. But then you can't
You do away with those
disassociate
things.
yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So
pick
true.
one.
Again, stupid.
Wow, you're really on with that impression this evening.
Tim does say, though, hopefully to help, with the spelling error.
Elks are a good team despite the record. Yes. Well, I do think that they are better. I do think they are better, but
They're
I do
a better
think
0-2 team than they were at this time last year.
Yes.
Yeah, I would never in my life say they're the best 0-2 team. No, like I learned from our Rouge Radio friends to not say that. But they are what their record says they are, of course. But I do think that they do overall play better. They haven't gotten over the explosion plays yet. And the explosion plays killed them in this game. Either ones they couldn't get and ones they gave away. and those were the major difference in this particular game. So
well, you hold the Grey Cup champs to 3 points. Like, come on. Winnipeg couldn't even do that.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job overall, but just couldn't find the stuff to get through the finish line. So
the right stuff.
Maybe
Although
they will.
Tim's on a roller coaster. He's got the spells Trey wrong. Then he says the Elks are a good team. And then he says,
taking back my compliment. How dare you correct me spelling? Okay.
Wait, what was the compliment?
I'm not sure. What did he say? He said something earlier in there.
Okay, because then that means no difference to me.
Different look for Kayla tonight with a thumbs up. There you go. You have your mic up front. Maybe that's why.
Oh,
that.
Yeah.
He's got
sassy Mike.
I get that a lot.
I'll bet.
That's Mike's new nickname.
That's right.
Mike. Yeah.
Was that a compliment
Sassy
or just
fan.
a statement? Like,
I don't know. I don't know.
I
If
think
that's really
it's
a compliment.
I think it's
okay.
There's a thumbs up. That's the compliment part. Yeah.
Don't take it back. It's all I have.
Yeah,
Exactly. From our good friend, even if she does love Calgary, Liz Audette.
Yes. Serious question. Okay. Okay. I'm ready.
Ready?
Ready. What is everyone's favorite dinosaur? That feels like a question we should be asking before the Dino home game next
home
around.
game, exactly.
But you know what? It's we can make it on theme there. All right, Kamish, who's your favorite dinosaur?
Because as a child watching Jurassic Park in that moment when they first see the dinosaurs, how could the Bronchiosaurus? I have to. I have to.
Brachiosaurus, but yes.
Oh, sorry.
Brontosaurus, Brachiosaurus, one of those.
Yeah. You've just
combined. Brachio. See, I just did a correction myself, Tim. So therefore we're even.
Yep, that was pretty cool.
I would say. Yeah.
What do you got, Mike?
So Tim does say he was just trying to say he looked nice without being creepy. Well, you failed.
Cliffy's always on the pod and he's like uber creepy. It's okay, Tim. Don't worry. You could probably say anything and it won't be as bad as Cliffy.
How do you not love the Edmontonosaurus?
That's right. Yeah. I
do.
Named about our city. So
that's
right.
I still can't.
That one was probably
when I was a kid and learned that it was there. I mean, I was there when it was named, I'm sure, but
skin's probably green and gold. That's why.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. That's probably what it is. Yeah. Let's see. My favorite. think
And
I will.
T-Rex.
Right? It's arms.
I think I'm gonna go pterodactyl because I like the
Oh.
silent P.
Mm-hmm.
You like the
That's
silent B.
the reason, not the fact that they
You
can
should
fly.
see the look I just got from my child that's sitting over there. He like totally did the
That's a cool option, though.
right. Come on now. Gold seal of approval from Liz. Excellent. Thank you, Liz.
Well, what's Liz's?
Yeah,
Come
exactly.
on, Liz. We need to
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. What's I appreciate the serious question on the evening.
It is, yeah.
As we get ready for Dino Day at the next home game.
Right.
Yeah, it's gonna be so much fun. Do we have one more in there, super fan? And then
we've got
move on?
we've got many to talk about, but let's go to the next one.
Okay.
So Leanne wants to know, what is this Sam position I keep hearing about? Is it new, or was it called something else before?
Okay.
Yes, it has been called something else before. So it's just shorthand for the strong side linebacker. So your linebackers in the traditional 3 linebacker set are Sam, Mike, and Will for strong, middle, and weak sides of the field. If you're playing in the States, your strong side is going to be the stride that has the tight end on it because you're overloading that side. Whereas here, you don't necessarily, because it's an even number of players, you don't have as many people, like more people on left or right necessarily. So it's usually the wider side of the field.
Right. And then the shorter side of the field gets the Will linebacker. So
right.
Yeah. There
Or
you
weak.
go.
There
Not
we are.
new, but now what was it called before though? It was called
Weak. Whether it was before, it was left linebacker and right linebacker.
Right
You didn't
linebacker.
switch sides.
Okay. Right.
Whereas you'll watch, if they're on one hash mark, they'll have their linebacker switch sides depending on which.
Yeah, depending on
or their
side.
defensive ends, or their cornerbacks. Or
speaking of Sam linebackers, Leon O'Neal Jr.
True.
So fun to watch.
He's a treat.
He's winning me over. I'm really enjoying watching him play.
He won you
come on.
over way before that.
Exactly.
Got to get
living up to the Jimmy Gaines name. That's right.
That's right. Oh, before we go, we do have Liz's answer.
Oh, excellent. Good to know. Megalodon. Wow. All right then. Really pulling out the deep choices.
Exactly. And Leanne does say, learn something new every day. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. Oh, excellent.
Oh, from Lori. Yeah.
Yeah, Lori. Yeah, that's wonderful. That will be if you tune in our off season when we have our football 101, we will go.
If only she had
to do. Yeah.
Only she had a brother that was, a defensive coordinator.
If only.
That'd be pretty handy.
Yeah.
Hey, I've been on this podcast for a long time and I still don't understand like the ins and outs of football. So I got you, Lori. Don't worry.
If only. Mike, if only.
We don't know that much. We just fake it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hardly.
Again, no one's checking.
Yeah. The stuff behind you, that is not real. That's just like a virtual banner.
People ask me all the time, is that real or is that just a
like a green screen?
Yeah.
No, it's real. Yeah.
That's why it's flickering.
That's
I don't believe you.
Nice point on that. That was pretty good. All right. Shall we go into our game this coming Saturday?
Let's.
We are back at it this Saturday in Toronto to take on the Argos at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. This is going to be a tough challenge, I feel. Toronto coming off a bye week. And we're coming off 2 very tight losses. Our first game on the road. So I guess, what are we looking for in this game? Commissioner, I'll start with you this time.
Oh, my word. I just, you got to tighten everything up. I mean, you cannot intercept or have turnovers. You cannot have that ball intercept. Like NBT, kind of know what you're doing. I don't understand why some of these balls are overthrown. I don't know if the receivers are in the wrong play. I don't get it. It has to stop. We have to just make sure. I don't know how many times I have to say this, but I'll keep saying it until they do it. Play 60 minutes of football. It's like you have to play all 4 quarters, all 15 minutes of each quarter. You have to stay competitive. You're up against now Toronto and then BC. Good luck,
Mhm.
boys, if you can't tighten up what you've been doing. Like, I'll give you the penalty. The penalties have improved. Thank you. But it
Yes.
seems like that's what they did in preseason. Good penalties, a freaking scroll of penalties, another freaking scroll of penalties, good penalties. So I'm just like waiting for the shoe to drop for another game of trash penalties. But I must say, I'm a little bit more optimistic about this game than I was going against the Owls.
Okay.
So
Okay. What makes you
take
more optimistic this week?
because it's not the Owls. It's not Cody Fajardo. I don't know about
Oh.
this kid. What is his Tucker? What the frick is his name? Not Chad Kelly. Like, what is his name?
Yeah. We don't say that name on here.
I
You know
just
what?
did.
His name is now totally escaping me now that you were saying that. And yet
Is it Tucker?
I can
No.
see the picture. No.
Tucker would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can
No.
imagine the cheers here.
Yeah.
No, but like,
No, it is.
Uh,
Please.
What's Mike's gonna look it up now because I can't remember his name. I can
Yeah.
see his face and can't. It's not coming to me.
Cameron Dukes.
Cameron Dukes. There we
okay,
go.
not too far off.
Tucker.
I don't know.
Cameron Dukes.
Cam
there's
Tucker
a
was in
U
Modern
and a
Family, and then Modern Family. He was a
K and an
football
E.
coach.
Like, I was getting there.
Trying to link it all. I appreciate the effort, Superfan. That was good.
Whatever.
trying-
It's yeah. I
Cameron
just
Dukes. Okay.
yes, you have a
And not
team
Fajardo.
that that's such a weird name. Okay, yeah, whatever. You don't have the system that won the Grey Cup playing against you. You don't have more so a veteran. Cody looks very relaxed this year. Very in control of his team. I'm actually admiring the way he's playing, and I'm enjoying watching him play. I just think that I'm gonna get some heat on this. I just think that those games were kind of fluky that Toronto has been playing. I don't know. I just feel it in my gut. They're not as good as they're showing. Like we're better than what we're producing or what our score is, and everyone keeps saying it. I think the opposite of Toronto.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Superfan, what are you watching in this game?
I am watching our interior offensive line versus Jake Ceresna.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
very
is-
true. Yep.
It's just one of those things where, I mean, we love the guy for a reason. He
Yep.
was
Mhm.
often our only all-star. And now that he's there, the team is better. But of course, I think it'd still be better if he was here.
Yes.
But it's been a little tougher with the offensive line getting used to the new quarterback. New quarterback getting used to his receivers, so he maybe has to hold the ball a little longer. And that's Jake Ceresna time, right? He is one of the best 3 technique defensive tackles out there. And yeah, it's going to be pretty scary. If I can just go back to the question we had about Sam linebackers, we did have one more person offering to explain more about the Sam linebacker, and it's someone that should know. Shabazz Dillon. Oops, that's the wrong one.
That's the
What
wrong.
happened? Let's try that again.
All right. Yeah, he would know.
He would know.
Yes.
Our manager of football operations.
Exactly.
We don't use the initials for that one. The Sam has more coverage responsibilities in the CFL versus a typical linebacker, almost like a hybrid safety or nickel in the NFL.
No, I gotta write that down. That's good information.
Yeah, because I mean they sometimes got called a cover linebacker as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because they have to be able to drop into coverage, but be able to go into the box, like take on an offensive lineman. So you've got to be, or certainly a fullback. So you've got to be big enough to be able to handle that, but fast enough to be able to drop into coverage and cover, one of the slot backs.
Oh,
Wow.
I think we should have a football 201. I think
Yeah.
I said that last year.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna ask for that.
Well, maybe we'll see what Shabazz is doing. Maybe we
That's
can have
right.
him
Yeah,
on.
exactly. We can get him on for our teaching lesson. He did
Yes.
come by the tailgate, which was awesome.
It was
glad that he
awesome.
came by. Yes. So please keep coming by, Shabazz. It was awesome to see you. And that's a much better explanation that I could have given. So I know what side they're on, and I know that they cover. But that's all that.
think
that I know. So,
Both points were
Yep.
descriptive and
And the
helpful.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the preview. So I'd
Yes.
watch Jake Ceresna on the defensive side for them, and our offense. I mean, we have just as many players or more former Argonauts that'll be
Yep.
going home for the first time, whether it's McLeod Bethel Thompson or whether it's
Mhm.
Javon
Curly.
Leak or whether it's Curly Gittins Jr. or
Mhm.
Boris Beatty. Like, there's a lot of guys. So
Yes.
You have a
That's-
feeling Ceresna is going to have a feast on our O line.
maybe
That
He might.
well,
he is
Um,
excellent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was Shabazz saying about BMO?
I don't know, but he says whenever. Let me know if we're coming on.
Oh, nice. Okay, we got to make sure that happens. That'll be great.
Absolutely, he's a great dude.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
what was he saying about BMO? So
Yes.
someone was saying, let's see. So Chris was saying it's his first time at BMO Field.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
Then we got Tim saying it is a unique stadium.
Okay.
And then Shabazz said, BMO Field is not a great football stadium designed for soccer. The field is mostly grass, but the back end of the end zones, I believe, are turf.
That is correct. Yes. So it does make that a
I
little
can see
bit
that,
harder
yeah.
catching in the back corners for sure. But McLeod is used to that.
That's true.
As is Curly. So, and they had some big success there. So I'm excited to see what, my biggest thing I was going to watch this game was for Javon Leak. I think he's close to breaking one. I do want to see if that blocking is just that little bit better. It was a little bit better last week as compared to week 1. So is it a little bit better in week 3? And does Javon break one, which would be amazing? I'd love to see that. And and Shabazz saying to add, the Argos team does a great job with what they have on and off the field. Yes,
they're all
and
professionals. I mean,
absolutely.
Danny
absolutely.
Webb's been there forever for
Yeah.
making sure they have the right footwear and everything else too. So
Yes, well, and of course our good friend Adam in the booth to call all the plays. So that's amazing. So I think that's kind of I was gonna kind of focus in on the special teams, Mike, like you said, that battle between the Argo defensive line and our offensive line is going to be interesting, and we'll see if the short yardage has taken a little more practice time and gotten a little better on that side, because we're hoping we can get those lean ins and get the first down. So
I have a question. Why did Purefoy return that one kick? Was that a mistake?
That was a mistake. Yep. You're talking about the missed field goal?
The missed field goal, and then he brought it out from the back.
And Jones said after the game in the scrum, he said, that's something that we've got to tell him every time when he goes out what he needs to do, because he got caught up in the moment and ran out, and then we're starting at our own 8 instead of our own 40. So
why was he back there in the first place?
You always have someone.
Yeah,
someone, but why?
I think he usually does on the field goals.
But if he usually does, then he would know.
I think in the spirit
in the
moment.
All right.
Yeah. I think in the moment.
Hard. It's just weird.
I agree. He shouldn't have. And that was the comments after the game too. But yeah, he should have just taken the knee, given up. He didn't want to give up the point. Because we weren't that far away. But
I do have one thing to add for BMO Field, Chris. You can actually go down onto the concourse, like by the entryway, and like greet the players as they exit out, like our Elks players.
That's cool.
Cool.
You have the opportunity to do that, so I would recommend doing that.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah,
Kayla, does your bike change color? Am I tripping out? No, it does change color. Yeah.
No, you're tripping out.
Nice, thanks. I did want to try and get to BMO this year, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen in the end. So that is.
I would recommend Percival, but I might be.
I do want to get there.
Highly biased.
Yeah, highly.
Highly.
All right then. Yeah. Are you tripping out, or is your microphone changing colors? Both. Okay. Great. So put your Elks prop bet into the chat if you have one for this evening. We will get to that in just a moment. Beforehand, it is time for us to do our pick'ems. Now, last week, Mike, you went 2-2. So your record
better than 0-4.
That's right. So your record is 2-6. I went 3-1, so I'm up to 5-3. And Kayla, you went 3-1 as well, so you are up to 4-4. So for
How are you 3-1?
I picked BC, Saskatchewan, and I picked the under on the field goals, which was the correct one. And you
Prop
picked
bet.
Ottawa, BC, and Saskatchewan, right?
Oh.
But you missed on the over, so that's how that worked.
Okay.
That's how it worked. So
Gotcha. Didn't realize we were doing it that way.
yes, we are
I
doing
thought,
it.
okay.
What
I thought the
way?
prop bet was a separate.
Well
It was
done,
the
Mike.
games and then the prop
No,
bet.
and then the prop bet. That is correct. Yes,
Gotcha.
that is how we're scoring. I'm
I
pretty
pay
sure I
attention
explained it last
all the
week,
time.
but that's okay. You were half asleep.
Damn it. I was just like, yes, I beat you all.
Close.
No such
Yeah.
luck. Okay.
All right, first game this week, Ottawa versus Montreal, back in Montreal, where they are unveiling their Grey Cup champions banner. Tim saying expected crowd of over 20,000 in Montreal for banner night. That's exciting.
That is
That'll
very
be
exciting.
a big crowd for them. So let's start with you, Commissioner. Ottawa or Montreal? I mean, I know what you're picking, but you can explain it, I guess.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
know?
I'm fairly confident.
I
What are you
might
picking?
surprise you.
Oh, all right.
Kidding, I
No,
won't.
go ahead.
I'm picking Montreal.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, if the reasons aren't obvious, I can't help you. I
okay. Fair enough.
don't need to explain myself. I
Uh,
never
that's
do
true.
anyway.
Yeah, well, that's fine. Super fan?
Yeah, I'm going to take the home team in this one. I think Montreal is feeling like maybe they've been taken for granted.
Okay.
They were picked to be dead last year, came in and won the Grey Cup. This year, people said, well, they're going to fall back to earth. I was guilty myself. I was saying that, and they want to prove that they are for real and they deserve that win. It wasn't them fluking into a Grey Cup win.
Mm-hmm.
They are going to be very strong. Ottawa is a much better team than they were 365 days ago. However, this is going to be one of those things where it's like trials and tribulations, and we see how they react after a win. Let's see how they react after a loss.
All right. Well, I am going with Montreal as well. We'll institute this rule next year where if two of you pick the same team, the third person has to pick the other team just to make it
No.
fun.
How do we be like, I want to go first?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't
Well,
want to pick
we
Calgary.
keep rotating, so it's always fun. Anyway, I'm going to pick Montreal. I think this game will be very close. Ottawa, like you said, Mike, is very much improved.
Yeah.
But I think much like last week, Montreal knows how to win those close games, and Ottawa hasn't got there quite yet. So I think Montreal finds a
Know
way.
that feeling.
Yeah, trust me about it. Yeah, all right. Interesting one now. BC versus Winnipeg. I will be at that game in Winnipeg and watching the hockey game on my phone while I am there, but I will be there. Yeah. That's it. It's exciting. It's very good. But look, do you see what like Connor just scored again? Yeah,
exactly.
All right, Mike, who do you got?
This one, I'm going to be taking the visiting team. Winnipeg, I think, is going to improve over the season, but I think BC is going to be just a little too strong for them.
Fair enough. I am also picking BC. Only because I know Winnipeg is better than they've played in their first two games, but BC is better than that. So yeah. I'm going to go with BC. So
and Kayla has to pick. Oh, wait.
Yeah, exactly. Kayla has to pick Winnipeg. Perfect. No, I'm kidding.
Screw you all.
That is what we call a huff.
That's yeah. So you're going to go with
never.
You're going to go with BC, I take it.
Oh, yeah, I'll go for the sweep, but I do see some things on the BC side that I'm not quite confident on. And it does make me a little concerned. I mean, we saw VA's what he can put up, but I don't know, that receiving line kind of makes me a little bit nervous. It's not as consistent or beastly as it was last year. And that O-line, I don't know how many hits Vernon can take. And
Very
especially
true.
when you're going against a Winnipeg defense who has yet to win on home turf. I am
That's
concerned
fair.
with this game, but
That's fair.
I don't pick against my guy.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. The last one is Hamilton versus Saskatchewan. The home and home. This one's headed back to Saskatchewan. Yeah, Saskatchewan wins again. And frack. Okay. You already know what I'm picking. Okay, go ahead, Kayla.
Gosh.
It's like, how do I pick this?
The fact that Bo Levi had a good
You had a decent game. You had a decent game. That's true.
Ow. This is vomit inducing. I'll pick Saskatchewan.
That's fair. That's why I said it
I
so
don't
quietly.
know, man. I'm just like, I'm wavering on this one more so.
I was a little bit too, just because I didn't know, but I don't know. They're coming back home. They're, whether that's good or bad, who knows with the pressure, but I don't know. I think they find another way to
win. Yeah.
Sad. Anyway, Mike.
Well, it seems like we're having a clean sweep across the board. Yeah, I hate having to pick Saskatchewan, but they seem to have just been pulling things together and making it happen. Whereas Hamilton seems to be snatching defeat from the jaws of victory.
Correct. Yeah.
And I just don't see them turning that around yet. I mean, they'll probably make me wrong, but yeah. Until they do, we do have some people that have picked as well. If we want to go through some of those.
Oh, sure, yes, please.
Is Sean Bain? Did they give a report on what's happening with him? Because he was taken out of the game.
Right,
he was. Yeah, I haven't seen the updated injury report, but I'll look right now while you bring up some of the other picks there.
You bet. So Ken was first off. And he's picking Montreal, BC, and Saskatchewan. That sounds familiar.
Yes, doesn't it?
Chris Agar, Montreal, BC, and Saskatchewan, to which Ken says, copycat.
Yeah. When I look at that, all I can think of is, is this the clean sweep week for everybody? Who knows?
Well, Lori Goudreau. Montreal, BC, and Hamilton.
Okay.
She thinks this is the upset right here.
All right, then.
Wouldn't mind it.
I wouldn't mind that at all. And our friend Leanne, Ottawa, BC, and Hamilton.
Oh, really? Wow.
So maybe Montreal's caught napping. I guess we'll see.
Interesting. Well, Saskatchewan and Hamilton don't have to play till Sunday, so they don't even have their first injury report out, so nothing on Bain as of yet. Yeah.
And Tim, Montreal, BC, and Ham, same as Lori.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Wow.
I would not be upset if Hamilton pulled out a win. Although I would be upset because it's Bo Levi Mitchell. But
that's my issue.
That's
right?
I know, right?
Who do you cheer for? Like
you don't cheer for, you cheer against in this case.
That's correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Well then, can I opt out? Like,
can we cheer for a meteor to hit the stadium?
can we cheer for that ref who got hit with by that punt ball? Like, that's pretty.
We always cheer for him.
That was pretty funny. That was a good video.
So, oh, you did see it there?
Yeah. I did,
Did it go as far when he dropped the flag? Because that made it even funnier.
Yeah,
like, it was great. Yeah. All right. What do we got for prop bets in there, super fan?
Prop bets. We have a couple of different prop bets.
Oh,
Chris Agar was first off the mark. He says Argo sacks 4. Let's see our O-line shine.
Oh my. Okay.
Ken Ludwig says Elks sacks given up,
gosh.
Which is basically the same.
Exactly the same thing.
Yeah, exactly the same thing. Okay. Why do we keep having ones that are negative against our own team?
Well, again, Chris says, let's see our O-line step up.
Huh?
Well, we can do other kinds. I mean, this is, again, me personally, if I'm going to throw one out there, I'm going to say Curly Gittens yards.
That was exactly the one that I was going to say, because I'm like, he's going back home.
Yeah. Or you could do McLeod Bethel Thompson again, also going back home his first game at BMO as a member of the opposition.
Yep. Okay, which one do you like, Kayla? You can pick this evening.
I'm sorry, guys. I gotta go positive. I'm trying. Well, you took like you tried to be positive on a negative, and it kind of like cancels each other out. Like, so I feel like I have to like take that out of the equation because you just canceled your own comment out. Like, I don't know.
So Curly Gittens yards receiving, McLeod Bethel Thompson yards passing. What do you think?
Curly yards.
Curly yards. Oh my. All right then. Curly
Curly
Gittens.
mittens.
Prop bet. Oh yeah.
It is.
Okay. All right. How many yards is Curly Gittens Jr. going to? What dare I ask, Mike? Yeah.
Laurie says MBT to Gittens plus BD field goals.
Oh, gee.
That's a lot of math.
I was gonna say that's way too much math for me.
Yeah.
All right.
Math is
Gittens.
hard.
Okay, let me write this down so I don't forget. So we've got Gittens receiving yards, right?
Yep.
Mhm. What?
I am going to go with.
What's the line? I've got my number in my head, so
Yeah, I know you always have your number already set and to go.
it makes it easier when you pick a line.
79.5
Oh, interesting.
is the line for Gittens.
And he had 80.
He had 93 in the last
Oh,
game.
93.
He is
Okay.
top number 9 in receiving yards so far in the league.
Yep.
With like 154, 155, and Dylan Mitchell is like 1 yard behind him. So we're 2 receivers in the top 10.
Yep. And the game before he had 80. Did he have 83 the week before and then 93
Oh, was that the
this
one I
week?
was thinking? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Oh, he's
what do you
trending
got,
upward.
Commissioner? Up or down?
Up. He's
going over.
trending.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say positive.
Okay. I'm gonna go higher. All right, super fan.
I'm going to go under because I think
Okay.
that they're going to be covering him a lot more. And I think that because of that, someone else is going to be getting open, whether it's D-Mitch, whether we have a lot of good receivers. Maybe even Malik Flowers will be getting a bunch of yards.
Malik
Hergy
Flowers gets
Mayala.
lots of targets, but not enough catches. Is my
Maybe he will.
problem
Like
with
maybe
him.
that timing, or maybe Hergy Mayala.
I'm gonna go with. I am also taking the under because I believe it is time for Gino to have a game.
There
Yes. Okay,
Yes.
I'm good with that. Yes.
Time for Gino to get that connection with McLeod and put up 100-yard game with a TD.
But then they'll maybe start bracketing him, and that'll open it up for Curly. So you never know.
Yeah, you never. They could
Either
both be.
way.
They could both be over, but it's
Right.
Gittens for the over. All right. Lori saying over. Perfect. Leanne saying over. Oh, my line might have been a little low there, but I don't know. I saw him in the 80 range. That's why I kind of went with that.
Yeah.
But,
I had 74. So
oh, look at that. Hey, not bad. Not bad.
Yeah.
But I'm going with that was a great year. Yeah.
Under by half yard.
By a half yard.
Dang.
79 yards, he figures.
If he gets 79, Mike and I win. That's how
There
that
we
works. Yep. But I'm gonna go Gino all day. Gino all day. Go Gino. Go Gino.
Bring you popcorn.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
It's a Gino show. That's right. 90-10. 90-10 balls all day. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, whenever I go
all
4-0,
right.
I'm buying a new bottle of whiskey. So that is
Nice.
my treat to myself.
Okay, that's
I go 3-1.
Wait a
I go
second.
2-2. I'm buying myself.
If I don't
Bottle of
care,
If I get one of the 4 right.
I'll
If I
care.
go 0-4, I need a drink anyway, so I'm gonna
Exactly.
buy
So I'm
one of
gonna
those.
buy
Yeah,
one.
perfect.
I can make
Yeah.
it happen.
I like how this is all panning out.
Yeah.
Before we go for the evening, Mike, we forgot to talk about the 50s team when we did the
Yes.
Hell. The 50s team has been announced.
It sure has.
Oh,
And tell us a little bit about how this one kind of came together with some
For
of these
sure.
guys.
This was a lot of fun. So we had a small committee for this that included myself, Dave Jameson, Brian Hall, Blake Dermott, and Evan Dom for this one. I don't think I missed anybody. And so we just sort of, I created a ballot, and the ballot had things like how many, just based on their 50s numbers, how many yards they got receiving or rushing or passing or things like that. There were no defensive stats in the 50s. So you sort of had to guess. And of course, it's really hard to do that offensive line. So how many all-star nominations they had or how many awards they won, including team nominations. So that kind of thing. So we put that all together. There were a few rules in here that we kind of had to bend a little. One of them was you had to have at least 2 years in that decade. Everyone on this list does make that with exception of one, and that's Billy Vessels, who was the very first person to win the Most Outstanding Player award. He was at running back. He also led the league in rushing that year, and was sort of our first big superstar to join this team because he did win the Heisman Trophy in 1952. So it was in 1971, they made a dream team. The team did. And he was still on the team at running back. So it felt like we needed to honor him. And the other rule was you couldn't have multiple positions on the same depth chart. For the 50s, a lot of guys played both ways, and that made it really, really difficult. One of the problems was Rollie Miles, who led the team in return yards for kick returns by a long margin. So we had to include him a kick returner. He also won 9 not Shelly Warren's all-star nominations, but 4 of them were at offense and 5 of them were at defense. So he kind of had to be one of those guys that was in at both positions. So other than that, we have a lot of great players. My personal favorite part of the entire event when we were naming this team was no matter what name I suggested for position, Brian Hall had a story. And if you've ever had a chance to listen to Brian tell a story, especially about guys from the 50s and 60s, if you haven't seen the CFL Traditions DVD series, go watch the Edmonton one. He just revels in this. And it might be from the playing days. It might be his post-football career. It could be going out with the guys to the King Eddie Hotel afterwards. It didn't matter. But they were absolutely phenomenal. So they are talking about having little film clips of Brian talking about a lot of these guys. So watch for that for sure. But I don't think there's a lot of guys here that of the recognizable names are going to surprise anybody. Of course, Jackie Parker was going to be the quarterback. Normie Kwong and Johnny Bright. Back in the 50s, we ran what was called a twin fullback system. So you had a quarterback, 2 running backs, and 2 fullbacks. And maybe one of the fullbacks was called a flying wing, which is sort of somebody who was sort of would move towards the line of scrimmage as a receiver. But we were mostly a rushing team, so we had a lot of running backs. And we didn't really have our ends as receivers, so we didn't have any wide receivers. They were both tight ends. So we had Roland Prather and Steve Bendiak there. Defense, we only have 2 people on this list who are still surviving to this day. Bill Smith, defensive halfback, although it says DHM. I'm not sure what that is. That's supposed to be M and B are close on the keyboard, right? So that is a defensive halfback along with Rollie. And Lee McMillan, who we have at the punt returner. Both those gentlemen are still around. Bill Smith was at the annual dinner. And he was at a few different events as well. So he was at the game. But it was, like I said, just an absolutely fun time to see. I wish we could spend more time on it. It's just a lot of fun. And I think a lot of people will get a lot out of talking about some of these people and asking, who's Frank Anderson? Why is he on this list? Why is he on the Wall of Honor? And then they could talk a little bit more about this.
You mean Guts?
Frank Guts Anderson, you betcha. Anyone that is of a certain vintage that maybe remembers a movie called Flash Gordon from about 40 some odd years ago.
Yeah.
Or a TV show called Manimal.
Oh, I remember that one. Yeah.
Yes. Well, you might have been a little too young. If you're a little older, you'd remember the woman who was in Manimal, who is also Dale Arden in Flash Gordon. A woman named Melody Anderson, who actually went to my high school a few years before me. That's Frank's daughter.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's cool. Okay. That's awesome.
But someone is named Eagle Keys. Can I just
Correct. Oh, that's not the best part. The best part about Eagle Keys is he's from Turkey Neck Bend, Kentucky.
Stop it.
Oh, Eagle was he was our coach from 59 to 63. But before that, he was our center, and he played in the 54 Grey Cup on a broken leg.
Wow.
Uh,
Wow.
How?
Yeah, spiral fracture. Impressive.
Wow.
They built him different in Turkey Neck Bend, apparently.
I have a hangnail and I'm crying.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Turkey Neck Bend.
That's
That's like
Kentucky.
Ricky Ray
wild.
coming from Happy Camp. Like
I know.
Like
Happy Camp, California.
yeah, I was gonna ask him about that, but anyway, I'm sure he's heard more all the jokes, so don't need to do that.
Oh yeah, and then the coach. Leanne was asking who is the fellow front and center holding the trophy. Can we go back to the picture? I'm not sure.
Yep.
Oh no, that is Mo Lieberman. He was the team president back then.
There we go.
So what's not on there is the coach, and it was Frank Pop Ivy. If you were to take the best record in the regular season, Pop Ivy holds that. We won a lot under him. He was the head coach from 54 to 57. And of course was the head coach for all 3 of our Grey Cup wins.
They don't see the coach on here. I guess they did.
No.
Yeah,
which we did actually pick a coach for every decade, and he didn't get on this one. So
just get on that one. Okay.
So
all right.
He is on the website.
Is this going to be displayed anywhere at the stadium?
I don't know. It is currently on the website on goelks.com. And the whole point of this is that we've made these choices, and every home game they're going to reveal a different decade.
Right.
And then the last home game, because that's only going to be taking up 7 of those of the next 8 home games. The last home games will be the all 75th team, and the fans will be voting on that. So all these people that are on these various all-decade teams will form the ballot for the all 75th team, and the fans will vote on that.
Wow, that's going to be rough.
Pretty hard.
Sure is.
Oh my God, so many positions. It's just going to make you ill. Like, how do you pick from all those receivers?
Like, yeah, I have no idea.
And how many incredible middle linebackers will not make the club?
Right. Yeah.
How many quarterbacks will not make the club?
Yeah. How many Hall of Fame quarterbacks will make the club? Like,
how many Hall of Fame middle linebackers?
Oh, like it's
you have crazy. Danny Bass, Dan Kepley, Willie Pless, AJ Gass,
like
JC Sherritt, like on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
Only one of those guys makes the team.
It's going to be a tough one for sure. So
yes, it will.
Lots of fun though. Thanks for going over that with us, Mike. And as they announce new ones, we'll go over those here and talk about them a bit. So that was awesome. Sure. I'll try and remember next time to put it right after the history. Sorry, I missed that step this evening. All right. We have come to the end of this show. Thank you for hanging in there with us a little bit later after the hockey game, and congrats to the Oilers on the win this evening and bringing it back to Edmonton, dragging them back to Alberta.
Friday's going to be wild.
Friday is going to be wild is one way to
sleep on Saturday, touch wood.
That's right. Exactly. I don't fly out till later, so I should be fine. That's good. So make sure you're following our friends at Pay It Forward with Football. They continue to do a great job of spreading kindness, and that's what we need more of in our world today.
Currently looking for sponsors.
Absolutely. Looking for sponsors to help with sending people to games. So make sure that you connect
Spread
with
the word.
them. Yes.
Keep it going.
Help them out. Duchess, where does everybody find you?
Oh, well, at Duchess Lombardi. Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you.
Hey.
On Twitter.
Perfect.
Exclusively. Yes.
Exclusively. That's right. Super fan.
Or here.
Here every week.
Right here. Every week.
Tuesday night.
That's right. I don't even watch wrestling, but apparently that's a thing. You can find me at 56 Parkies, and then the History and Horde segments at the Edmonton Football History account at EDMHISTOREE.
Wonderful. You can find the show at the Turf District on all of the different social medias. You can follow me at Freepalicious as well on X and all those Twix. What are we calling it now? Whatever. One of those things.
It's Twitter.
Sure, Twitter. And make sure that you check out my article on 3 Down Nation. The game, it comes out after the game, and I'd love to get some feedback from you on how that is, how you like those write-ups. If there's things that you'd like to see more of, I'd love to add those in. So check those out on 3 Down the day after the game. As I said before, check out the store to help the show. And usually this is where I would say, if you're on YouTube live, stick around for overtime, but not tonight, as this is a late one for all of us. So way to go, Leon, down there in the bottom.
Thank you.
That was wonderful. So for Commissioner K and Superfan Mike, I'm Andrew. Remember, you can't catch footballs with your face, and we will absolutely talk to you next week.